someone tell you to do something and you ignore it and you go through the pain, it's your fault. Buyer broker agreements. That was a big thing for me. When I first started, it was something that everybody spoke about. Oh, if you're gonna work with the buyer, have them sign the buyer broker agreement. What that does is it protects you as an agent. You're taking this person out, you're investing time, gas, whatever it is, you're sending them properties, multiple properties. You're all, you set them up on a prospect list. You start looking at the MLS every day for this person. You're investing your time, right? And if they just end up going and buy a house with someone else, sometimes you can take 3 to 6 months with someone, and then if they go and buy a house with somebody else, that could be devastating, right? For me, my year one in real estate, I'm gonna try to not ramble on as much, but year one in real estate, I had a family friend that I figured in my head was like, oh, I don't need to have them sign a contract. They're my buyers. Also, I got to that point where like I started depending on this commission. Like, okay, if I have everything else going on where like the rental might fall through or another deal that may fall through, I knew these buyers were my family friends and they're definitely gonna go, it's gonna come through with me. I just gotta show them a whole bunch of houses. That's how I was thinking. Like I said, I showed them over 60 houses. They ended up buying through another agent. The agent told me that the house wasn't available. They contacted him directly and, he showed them the house and basically they ended up buying the house with him. So that in itself, when I tell you I was probably curled up in the fetal position for like a good week. And I was, for those of you who don't know, I do have a bachelor's degree. I was working in business management. I was about to go back to work at that point. I was just like, screw this, man. Nothing's going through. You do all that work, all that gas, energy, time, and for that to happen, I think like that was one of the biggest betrayals that I could have felt from like a family friend. So
and that could make you want to quit. Like,
oh man, it made me want to quit.
Yeah.
He was telling me, Ray, come on, I see something in you. And I was like, you see it, but nobody else sees it. Shit. I just want to go to work.
Yeah, at that point, you just gotta keep the faith going and then just keep the motivation going. And luckily, we had that within KW because it's like more like family. They make sure that you succeed, and which is what happened with me and Ray. In my experience, is some of the do's and don'ts as far as the mistakes that I've made in real estate is thinking that you're going to come in this business and get rich the first week that you join. If you get lucky or things work in your favor, it can happen where you make a large amount of money quickly. But to be honest, I had to go through the grind, the hustle, which I appreciate every single second of it because it made me who I am today. And my first deal happened, it took me about 6 to 7 months to get my first deal. And my first year in real estate, I made about $6,000. I think that's enough to make anyone quit. Especially when you come from making 6 figures a year to then 1 year making 6K. It seems crazy, and the thing about it is, if I could advise someone coming into the business, if they ask me, hey, what should I have prepared to come into real estate? I would really say if you can, get at least 4 to 6 months reserves.
I tell people 10 months.
10? That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's how long it took me. Like,
but at least 6 months. Because look, they say every three months determines what you did. Well, 3 months later determines what you did 3 months ago. Yeah. So if you had 6 months and then it starts working for you, the next 3 months, which is 9, you'll be good. But if you have 10 months and you're paying $2K a month on rent, that may add up. But if you can do 10 months, I would say do it. But
listen, what he just said, I'm telling you, I started real estate, not living at home with mommy and daddy. I had to pay rent. So if I didn't I remember telling him this number. I was like, bro, if I don't make $1,800 a month, I am not gonna have a roof over my head and I'm gonna lose my car. So he was like, oh, that's just one rental. That's just he hit me with the positivity. Year one, I didn't want to hear none of that.
Yeah.
One rental, like what? But I'm telling you, like now, when me and him talk about things that we want and we want to achieve, we look at it like that, like, oh
Yeah.
bro, that's one rental. That's nothing. We're gonna get it done.
Yeah. So I will always say, and just be prepared for what you're coming into. And if you are, let's say you have a second job, just maintain what you're doing and budget correctly. My main thing also with some of the mistakes that I made as well is spending money everywhere. As soon as you get in real estate, you're like, oh, I want to buy this. I want to do this advertising. I want to put it on here. I want to put it on there. You have to figure out what works for you.
And you got to be on a budget. Me and him used to buy lunch and smoothies every day. Like we come to the office, cold call for 2 hours and feel like we did a good job. Go get a smoothie. Go get lunch. And we spend $20 a day, not making no money.
So budgeting is a main thing you want to do. Budget correctly. Know what you're spending your money on. If you are advertising, let's say mail out to something, you have to mail out consistently.
Don't just do it once.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
You gotta understand there's agents out there that are doing it on a consistent basis. So eventually, some point, they're gonna get called, right? If you do it once, they're gonna throw your crap out. They're not gonna see it again. You know, it's funny. I was passing by the gym, the mail out. I did a mail out recently. I was passing by someone in the gym, and she was like, "Oh, I saw your face. It came in the mail." She's like, "I kept it up on my fridge. It made me feel nice." Like, I'm sure she probably threw it out now, but still, like, you have to be consistent in everything you do. Don't try it once and then not do it, or thinking it's not gonna work. Eventually, it's gonna work. Consistency is key in the business.
Yes. Another mistake that I wouldn't advise to do as far as taking listings, open listings. I would say you can take open listings. It's just a way to go about taking an open listing.
And don't get emotionally involved with those.
Correct. When I started the business, I was willing to take anyone's listing. Oh yeah, just go rent out my place. And I'll say, okay, do you want to do the listing? No, just go out and find someone. I don't want to take the listing. And then I'll go back to my desk and try to work my hardest to get that listing, or whether it's an apartment or property, sold. And next thing you know, someone else rented it. So now what I do is, if you don't want to sign with me, pretty much it's rare that I find someone that don't want to sign with me now. So out of, let's say 9 out of 10, they're signing. That one that don't want to sign, I make sure to explain it to them very well. I'm willing to take it as an open listing, but I do want to let you know, I have others that are priority to me that did sign with me, that I have that commitment with, that will be ahead of you. And I will make sure to put your place and put it out there, but it won't be as active as the ones that signed that agreement with me, because we have loyalty between each other now. Now we have that commitment that I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, and you're going to do your part. So if you want to have it open, that's fine. It may take me a little longer now, because you're not at the top of the mind right now. I'm not going to come back. You didn't want to give me a commitment. So what makes you think that I want to give you a commitment of saying I'm going to work my hardest to come and make sure your property is sold? And then I could be showing your place 10 times, and then one agent shows it once and then takes it. Where does that leave me? That leaves us spinning our wheels, and that is something you don't want to do. Gas prices are going up, and I'm sure you don't want to be wasting it just driving around showing rentals that's open and someone else rents it out.
And to piggyback on that, with rentals, you don't want to, work with people that you haven't qualified yet. So there's a list of questions that, everybody should have when they're qualifying your rental clients. And I mean, it's basic, you want to make sure you know their, like, some basic information that the owners are going to ask you. Ask them their income, their annual income, credit scores, stuff like that. Because I have in the past, in year one, people would contact me, or I'd get a lead, not ask these questions, go show them 4, 5, 6 apartments. Then when it comes down time for us to put in an application, I start collecting their documents, and I see that they didn't even qualify. They're not going to qualify. It's going to be a hard sell. And then at that point, you're just spinning your wheels. Like, okay, this is not going to be something that I can do right away. So qualify all of your clients, whether it be a buyer, whether it be a rental client. Make sure they're all qualified, because you don't want to waste your time. We're in a business where we don't get paid until things close. And if you're working with people that are unqualified, yes, there are things you can do. Send them to credit repair. You don't want to turn people away. We're in a referral business, but you have to be able to classify what's going to be an income producing activity now versus, sending someone to exactly working with them later
for the next few months. Because not to say if they're not qualified now that they won't be in a month or two.
Exactly.
But you need to know what to prioritize first. That's gonna be able to produce back into your business so you can continue doing what you're doing now. Which is a very good point.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that all of like coaches, Tom Ferry, all of them, they always talk about time blocking and making sure that you're utilizing your time for income producing activities. And you guys have to figure out what that is, like whether it be cold calling to get new listings, that's an income producing activity, because eventually you'll get the listing, right? But if you're like on Instagram in between, like you sending out an email, that's not an income producing activity. So you got to get to the point where if you can schedule your day for at least 6 to 8 hours of you doing focused work,
yeah,
it's going to take your business to a whole different level.
And don't think because you're busy or you're doing a lot that it means you're doing something productive, because someone can be in this office for 8 hours and I can come in here for 2 hours and outwork them.
Yeah.
That's if I'm doing the correct productivity move. How do you say it? Yes. If I'm doing that, I can outwork someone that's here all day. If you're not doing the right thing, like he said, if you're in between on Instagram, not to say that we don't all get caught up in that. That's fine. But knowing when to snap back out of it and know that you're doing something wrong.
Exactly.
Because you're here to make money. Yep. And everyone gets into real estate most of the time. If you have someone that says for the freedom, okay, the freedom is there, but it doesn't mean the freedom to do nothing. So you have to, the freedom is making an income and helping other people get to their destination in order to have you to where you need to be and do what you want to do. So that's one thing that you should focus on: time management, blocking out the important things that you need to do.
Yeah, talking about that, I would say sometimes I even find myself scatterbrained, thinking, you'd be doing a lot, not finishing one task, moving on to something else, remembering something that you're supposed to do. And when you get like that, sometimes you just need to like take a minute,
relax,
meditate, whatever you gotta do. Because when you get scatterbrained, that's the worst thing that I would say, especially when you're in the office and you're like really not getting anything done. You're doing a little bit of everything, and that's not good. You want to try to be as organized as you can when you're in the office.
Got it. And I mean, we're going to touch on another topic as well, but I do want to ask anybody on the chat, is it anything that you're going through or anything that we mentioned that you're facing in the real estate world right now?
Hi guys.
Hi, how are you,
Melody?
I'm fine. Yes, you did mention that being all over the place, and mentally I'm all over the place. It's like trying to handle, calling the MLS. I'm just everywhere. I'm not so versed with the computer, so I take notes on a notepad, and I'm just like everywhere.
I do that. So I used to do that a lot too. I would take notes, right? What I would suggest is if you can come in and say like, hey, I'm going to cold call, or when you're saying you're on your calls, are you cold calling, or are you like
for places for clients?
No, I haven't done any cold calling yet. I'm looking about clients that I already have. Like
clients that you're working with?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm working with 3 right now, and I'm just like everywhere.
So if I could suggest, the way I do it, like when I'm working with like 3 clients, I'll start with the one, make the appointments. You know the schedule for all of them, right? You make all your appointments for all 3 clients if you can for that. day or the following day. And then
Mhm.
once you don't move on to anything else but making those appointments or looking for those properties for those clients. Once you finish that, then you move on to your next task. And I know it's gonna seem like annoying because sometimes you're calling someone on the MLS, they don't answer right away.
Oh,
But
no.
for me, the way I do it is, let's say there's like 5 or 6 properties, and I know my one client wants to see it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna call all 5, try to make the appointment if I can. But if I only get 3 out of those, then I'm like, okay, I'm satisfied. This client has 3 viewings, move on to the next client.
Okay.
Right. And then you also probably, I'm sure, well, I don't know if you're having problems with this, but when it comes down to the client, you also want to map down the areas that they're looking in, because the client can have you searching everywhere, pretty much saying, oh, I'm willing to move anywhere. You want to map down at least 2 to 3 main areas that they're willing to live in. Once you map those out, you want to really take control over it.
Yeah.
So once you map those out, you'll be in a better situation because you won't be driving to Connecticut, White Plains, and then Queens, you know?
With the first client about
Yeah.
where we're at now. So yes, moving forward, that's exactly what I plan to do. But I did learn the hard way.
Right,
Yes,
which
we
is,
all
I
did.
wish we could have caught you before that, because it will have you driving around like you're just willing to go anywhere with them.
Yeah. They will.
Yeah,
So you pretty much want to come in and control, and you pretty much want to guide them, see what their pain is, see what the things that they're in need. So when you're talking to them, just say pretty much, what are the things that you can and what are the things that you can't live without. So some may, if it's a house that you're looking for, there may be, I would prefer a garage, but if it doesn't have one, I'm okay, as long as it has a driveway. So now you narrow it down. Okay, if it doesn't have a garage, I can still show it to them, but as long as they have a driveway. And see what type. So the first showing should be, let's say you line up 3 houses for them for the first showing. You want to show them kind of 3 different houses, but similar with different styles. And then you piggyback off of the one that they like the most. And then from the next few searches, you'll have an idea of what exactly they're looking for in a house, because they'll tell you. And when you get there, just say, listen, be very transparent with me. Don't be afraid. I don't own the house. Let me know what you didn't like about the house and what you liked. And then once you have that communication where they come out and be like, man, that kitchen was horrible, I would never move in a kitchen like that. Now you have that bond and that communication.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
No problem.
Our pleasure.
Okay.
The next topic, I would say, we could both speak on this because we both made the mistakes. I made it one too many as far as teams.
Yeah.
Because when I joined in the company, I was in a rush to join a team.
When you first get into real estate, you're like in a rush to produce, right? And one thing I would say is a lot of people, they may not have your best interest at heart, right? Because when you join a team, you're helping that person out exponentially, and you don't realize it at the time. Look, there's benefits to joining a team. I'm not gonna completely knock it. You learn a lot from the person. They could become your mentor. They can give you a lot of business that you may not have had if you don't have a big sphere of influence. All those things are like benefits. But I would suggest when you're getting into the real estate, I don't think you should join a team. I feel like you learn as you go, and I think those are things that I feel like would make you a stronger agent in the long run, if that makes sense.
I agree with this.
Go ahead.
So I agree with most of the things that you said, especially at the beginning. The only thing is, I would say, if you do come into an office and you do decide to go join a team, I would just say know what you want. Know exactly what you're looking for in that team. This way, it's easier for you to scale it out and see not only necessarily what it is that you're looking for, but see how you bring value to that team.
Exactly.
Because don't think you're just going to get on the team and it's just piggyback off of what they do. Of course, we all want mentors. We all should want mentors in our lives, but you also have to bring some type of value to the table. I can't just walk around and pick any house and say, hey, I want to come sit at your table, and then I don't bring anything. And it may not be enough food on that table for me to eat, you know? But you also want to make sure that the things that you represent or what you're looking for is in that team.
And it aligns.
Exactly.
With the team. Yeah. So what he said, you want to make sure that your communication is clear with the team leader. Don't think that you're going in and, this is only going to be beneficial to them. Like, you have to, I think set your expectations up from the beginning. And I think that'll, help that situation if you do decide to go down that route.
Right. And some of the mistakes that I had in a team was me wanting to be a part of a team, but not necessarily at first, when I first joined the team, when I got into the office, I didn't know my value at that point. I believe other people did a little, but I didn't. So that wasn't good for me, because now I'm just working and doing what they wanted me to do, but not realizing the value that I had to negotiate other things or to have that power or confidence to do what I needed to do. So that's why I say, know what you bring to the table, know what you're looking for, know what you should have a pen and paper written down saying, hey, this is my goals. This is where I want to reach in the next 1 to 3 years, 5 to 10 years, whatever the case may be. Have it written down and go over it and say, hey, are you willing to hold me accountable for this? And let me see your goals as well. I want to see, when I join the team now, or the last team I joined, I want to see your goals. What are your goals for this year? Because I need to know where we're heading. If I'm going to be a part of a team, I need to know where we're heading. Not only, it's not for you to interview me. And that's just like how it is when picking a real estate firm. I always looked at it as, I'm going to interview them. I don't know why. I could understand why people get nervous going to the interview, but you got to look at it as, I'm going to interview you. You're interviewing me at the same time, but it's my decision at the end of the day. So I need to know that these align with what I'm looking for. And when you find that and you feel that, then you go with it and you hold that other person accountable. Because a team is not a head person that's in charge that just tells you what to do. A team is team players that get you where you need to be. When you look at a team, whether it's the Mets, whether it's the Knicks, or whatever the case is, when you go to that all-star game and you're in and at the finals, even though we have a Michael Jordan, but everyone gets that trophy at the end. So it's a team play. It's not just Michael Jordan making 100 points. It's everyone plays their position, whether you put in 20 points, 30, or caught 10 rebounds. You have your position in the team, and that's what makes winners. So I don't know if you wanted to touch on anything else.
I feel like you took everything I was gonna say out of my mouth. But I mean, for the most part, I think I agree with everything Anthony said. You want to try to interview the person as much as they're interviewing you. So if you do decide to go on a team, make sure that you treat it like an interview and that they're not just going to be benefiting you. You're looking for a mentor, and you want to make sure that you guys are going to benefit each other.
Anyone has any questions about that?
I see Mila has her hand up.
Mila always has a question, sorry.
Yeah, we love it.
So basically team related, but not really, right? So
okay.
You guys technically not a team, but you kind of partners, right? So usually team structure is a little bit different than my understanding what you have with your business, but anyway, my understanding, right? So and so basic question is, and I kind of talked about it because I talked about it yesterday. Question is, do you guys think that your partnership significantly affected the way you succeed, or is it just you guys get a?
You're breaking up a little bit. Well, a lot.
Yeah, we heard the first part. I didn't hear the second part.
and that has nothing to do with partnership. Your partnership contributed to your success. I'll type it in the chat box.
I think I got what you said. You could still type it, but I'm gonna go off of what I think you said or what I think you meant to start it. Basically, do you think us joining as partners built us up to be more successful than we were prior, if I'm not mistaken? I think it played a great part. I don't think it took anything from as far as whether either one of us were going to be successful, because I think he would be successful whether we joined or not. And I think for myself the same. But what I do think is that we joined a stronger foundation. We made the foundation stronger because he brings something to the table that's mighty powerful, and I have something to the table that's powerful, and we just put it together and made it a little stronger. But I think every individual has the power to be successful, but most people that's successful in life, or they also needed some type of help, and they also needed assistance and people that played a big part. And you can look at individuals in the world that's very successful, and I bet you they have a strong team behind them that's making a lot of things happen. Which is something like The Office. Like, you could look at the agents that's in the office, but we have a lot of people that work in the office, such as Sakina, Isada, a lot of different people that play big roles behind us to make sure everything is still going and everything is still being functional. So as far as us joining, I do think it became better for us, because whatever I may lack on, Ray may pick up on.
And vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa. If I miss anything, he may pick up, or if I forget to call someone, which just recently happened today, he'll remind me, hey. But if he wasn't here, I'll have to figure and remind myself, and I'll have to maybe be late tomorrow and call him back because I didn't remember today. So do I think it can benefit you with joining someone? Yes. But do I think you can be successful on your own, but as a plateau you may hit still, and you want to reach further, you probably would need some help. And not to say you always have to partner with someone, but find the next individual that you guys can help each other to level to the next.
There was a saying that I had sent to Anthony too. It just goes off of what he just said. Like, if you want to go far, wait, how did it go? If you want to go far, go alone. But if you want to go higher or something like that, you have to walk together. I feel like me and him joining together, like it. Again, I'm gonna say what he said. Like, I feel like both of us would have been successful had we not joined together. But us joining together, I feel like I really see the benefits because we hold each other accountable. You know, it's not as lonely, because when you're doing this and you're running a business, yeah, you're talking to your clients, but sometimes you can't, really vent to your clients about crap that's going on. So there's a lot of things that, I can talk to about him or bounce off of him before I go and bring it to a client. You know what I mean? So I just see the benefit in it. And yeah, I think partnering up with an agent it's a great idea as well, because I see a lot of people that take over on social media or anything like that. They always have like a team. It's never a single agent. You know what I mean? So something to consider.
And you don't always necessarily have to pretty much say, hey, we're partners and this is what it is, but you can have that communication with someone, whether it's when I first started, I used to talk to Wesley a lot. I used to talk to different people in the office and see how we can do business together. Yeah. That's still considered a partnership. Hey, we're in the same office. Let's do business. I have this client. What do you have? And we figure it out.
There you go. That's the one, Sakina. Thank you. So it was, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Yes, that's the one I sent him. I tagged him in there. He didn't even repost it. Oh, man.
But yeah, that's pretty much my advice to that, Neely. I hope we answered it to the best of our ability.
Okay, anybody else have like a situation that hopefully maybe possibly we can give you some advice on and steer you out of a situation?
Everyone's good.
That's good. No, you know what it is? Our examples, everything we said, they got it. They don't need anything
Yeah.
else.
Which is good.
That's
Okay.
good.
Well, listen, guys, you heard a ton of our mistakes, a ton of do's and don'ts. I hope that helped a lot. And I look forward to seeing everyone in this chat in the next few months with their names on the board,
Oh,
ringing
yeah.
them bells,
Yes,
and doing a lot of business.
definitely.
And we'll be back next week,
Yes, sir.
Wednesday, same time.
Same time. Your favorite duo. Bye, guys.
All right, logging out. Hope you
Thank
guys
you,
have a great,
guys.
blessed day.